I asked Google, what happened to the missing footage from the movie Event Horizon? And there's a backstory that says the missing footage from Event Horizon 1997 was largely lost due to poor archiving and environmental decay. Unused trims and offcuts were sent to a salt mine in Transylvania for. That's what it says really happened to a salt mine in Transylvania of all fucking places for storage. When the director Paul W.S. Anderson and the studio later tried to recover them for a special edition, the film reels had deteriorated beyond repair and could not be restored. And then it says why the footage was cut. Extreme content. The original assembly cut featured roughly 30 to 40 additional minutes of intense gore, graphic violence, and infamous extended bloody orgy flashback depicting the original crew's descent into hell. Studio panic. The test screenings were so extreme, with audience members reportedly fainting and becoming physically ill, that Paramount Pictures forced a rush re-edit to avoid an NC-17 rating. So that's what really happened, apparently. And because of it, I had to write a movie about a sequel, a story about how the footage went missing, and like a documentary. All right. So they could and should make an actual 3-hour long documentary movie about what really happened, involving how exactly the poor, unfortunate missing footage to the, to the movie Event Horizon wound up missing in a Transylvanian salt mine of all fucking places, with people getting killed over it in the documentary, of course, in the name of making sure that the extra 40 minutes of grotesque footage never seeing the light of day, in a similar movie type to the movie called Tetris, which was an absolutely hilarious R-rated movie about all the bullshit the video game Tetris had to go through to make it to the USA. That movie's really funny. So if you ever seen the movie Tetris, about the video game and all the bullshit that had to go through, this documentary would be made similar to that. At least the first 2 hours of it would be. I get to what the last hour of it is. In the documentary, this would be the test audience members who were disgusted and made ill by watching the extra grotesque footage, who were the ones who made sure the footage wound up in a Transylvanian salt mine in poor conditions, for 4 of them being killed here and there in the name of getting it there throughout the movie, throughout the documentary, and 2 of them living their lives until they died of natural causes, only to have demons waiting right there to to immediately take them to hell in all 6 different people's cases. So each time one of these 6 people die who made sure the extra grotesque footage to Event Horizon went missing in the documentary, you see different scenes of demons taking them to hell and torturing them horribly in hell in exactly the same ways that was in the missing There was exactly in the same ways that was in the missing footage they made sure to have go missing and never getting to be seen in the actual movie Event Horizon. So in the documentary, you get to have the explanation of why you were seeing people getting tortured in hell in the actual movie Event Horizon, and you get to see them getting tortured in the ways that were never in the movie, but were in the 40 minutes of ruined footage. So the people being tortured in the movie in hell are the people who were the ones in real life who made sure the footage went missing. In the documentary about how those scenes went missing and why they were being tortured in hell, which is because they deliberately made the footage go missing. The very last guy of the 40 minutes. So I'm not going to explain all the other 5 guys, but there are scenes like this one. I'm only going to explain what happens to the last guy. The last guy in the movie to die, who made sure the footage went missing. Who left the last guy who left the footage in poor salt mine conditions in a remote corner, never to see the light of day again until it was too late from being ruined beyond repair, being forcibly taken to hell when he dies in the documentary by 4 demons, forcing barbed wire down his throat, through his So something like this happens to the other 5 guys, but I'm only going into detail on the last guy. The 4 demons were forcing barbed wire down his throat, through his stomach, through his intestines, and out his ass while he's on his hands and knees on burning hot coals. And 2 demons slowly pulling the barbed wire out his ass with blood all over it and ripped pieces of guts hanging off the hanging off the barbs, and the other 2 demons still feeding barbed wire in through his mouth on the other end, all of whom are all of whom are laughing hysterically while Satan is peeing on his face. Well, Satan is peeing on his face, laughing the entire time. The camera zooms back while you're seeing that happen, and so the camera's just panning back while you're watching that happen until eventually you're looking right at a glass screen. Like in the movie Batman, when you think you're watching the movie and then all of a sudden a boxing glove hits the screen and breaks it and you realize you're just watching the Joker's TV. It's just like that. All of a sudden, you realize you're watching a glass TV screen with viewers like me and you watching the documentary on the other side of the screen, sitting on a couch, who are glad to see what's what's happening. One guy yelling, "Go to fucking hell! Die, bitch!" And throwing an empty beer can at the screen, at the TV screen, and the other guy sitting next to him on the couch shouting, "Eat shit and die, asshole! It's less than you deserve, you chicken shit." It's less than you deserve, you chicken shit cocksucker. and throwing a brick at the glass tube TV screen and breaking it. And then, demons. And then the demons in hell in the documentary realize they can get through the broken by the brick TV screen and start crawling through the broken screen one by one And Jeffro, the guy who broke the screen with the brick, quickly stops laughing once he sees what's happening, and grabs a loaded double-barrel shotgun he has by the front door to his place, and blasts the first demon square in the face with triple-aught buckshot, and blows his head in half, and it keels over dead with his brain oozing out of his head. with the broken TV screen being where it's bending over by his stomach area. So the demon is dead halfway through the screen with his head blown off, with most of his head blown off, and his brains pouring out of his head, bent over by his stomach area where the broken TV screen is. Then the demon behind that demon pushes the dead demon body through and into the room onto the floor in our world, and starts coming through next, but Jeffro blasts that demon square in the square in the face with the other barrel. A slug shot this time, and blows its head clean off, and it explodes tons of blood, skull, and brains everywhere in the room, and it dies hanging over the edge of the TV, just like the first demon did. But the demon behind it pushes that demon's dead body onto the floor, just like the first demon, and Bud, the guy who was with Jeffro on the couch watching the documentary, unfreezes from standing there in terror with his jaw hanging, and runs out the front door and runs for his life down the street, screaming at the top of his lungs. So the guy who was with the guy with the double barrel just cowers in fear and goes running out the door screaming. The third demon makes it through the screen while a fourth demon is coming through, and Jeffro runs over to a drawer and opens it with shotgun slugs in it and begins loading the double barrel. But right when he gets one loaded, the second demon through strong arms the double barrel out of his hand, and the third demon through starts clawing his The third demon through starts clawing his clothes off, and the fourth demon through starts ripping his clothes off, and the fifth demon through helps the other two demons hold him down, while the first demon through sticks the double barrel shotgun up his ass and pulls the trigger and blasts his entire intestines and stomach out his front side, and the camera shows it in detail, all come pouring out of his front side while he lays there dead on his side in the foreground, with demon after demon coming through the screen, one at a time, one after the other in the, in the background. So you're seeing him dead with all this guts and shit hanging out, like just oozing out in the foreground down here, like the bottom half of the screen, and then the top half of the screen you can see the TV in the background. With demons pouring through it one at a time. One after the other. And the rest of the documentary is about the demons from hell running amok in our world while the army eventually gets involved. And it's just this huge gargantuan hour-long bloodbath of horribly grotesque carnage for the end hour of the documentary slash movie until the demons eventually get the upper hand on Earth. And the end of the movie is the camera panning up from Earth into the sky slowly, and eventually, and everywhere on the surface where there is a human, there is at least one demon torturing them until, until they are too small to see because the camera is so high up that now you see the Earth from space starting to turn into an inferno because the Earth is now full. The Earth is now fully part of actual hell. Then then the cast rolls up. That's how the movie ends.